So not too long ago, I made a video about healthy relationships, but specifically when you don't know what healthy relationships are like. And for a far majority of my life, I've actually not known what healthy relationships are like, specifically friendships. There were people that I had in my life earlier on that I didn't realize it was unhealthy, but it's just because I didn't know what healthy relationships were like. I didn't know what the fabric of all that stuff consisted of, right? So, previously I made a video called When You Don't Know What Healthy Relationships Are Like. This is the part 2 of that, and I'm excited to kind of like dive into the fabric of everything because I realize that there's a lot to explore here. There really is. I was talking to somebody that I trust a lot. I'm not going to say what my relationship to that person is, but I share a lot of my own personal life with that person, things that have happened and everything. And yesterday I found myself talking about how I've experienced people. And what I've learned about relationships in the healthy way is boundaries, and specifically the intersubjective space that exists between people, right? And what really happens in that intersubjective space that makes that relationship what it is. I've experienced a lot of boundary violations by people in ways that I didn't even previously understand, right? I didn't previously see them as boundary violations. I just saw them as, oh, that's just the way that relationships work. By the way, I apologize if you hear any background noise. There's a busy highway in front of me. Everything that I previously experienced in relationships was just what I thought the way that relationships work, right? I thought that I was just supposed to take on people's shit. Like, I thought that, I meet people and they're just supposed to tell me all of the shit that's going on in their life and all the shit that has gone on in their life, which is fascinating because usually that would be the role for like a therapist, like an emotional container, right? And so, again, that goes back to the intersubjective space between people, right? What is it that's supposed to be, and it's not even a matter of supposed to, it's a matter of boundaries, right? It's like if I meet somebody, right, and they tell me their entire fucking life, right? Why are they doing that? Previously in life, I thought that that was just the way that relationships are supposed to be, that I'm supposed to be this person that just takes on people's shit, right? And the thing that really sucks about it too is that when that happens, usually the person that is giving the other person their shit doesn't have healthy boundaries, and that's actually why they're giving them their shit. But what else comes with a lack of healthy boundaries? Abuse. Verbal abuse, right? Why? Because if the person doesn't have healthy boundaries, they're going to give the other person their shit. And oftentimes that has to do with projections of how the person feels about themselves. And that can be verbal abuse, verbal attacks, regardless of, like whatever form, right? But yeah, previously in life, I didn't know what healthy relationships are like. So I thought that the relationships that I was having in life were healthy relationships, and they were. I thought it was all normal, right? I thought it was all normal. I want to talk about an experience that I had at a job that I worked that I fucking hated. Emphasis on the fucking and the hated, of course. I worked at a restaurant. I'm not going to name any names of anybody or even the name of the restaurant, but I worked at a restaurant, and earlier on in life, I actually had a nickname that I really didn't like because it wasn't nice, but I thought that it was normal, and I sort of kind of just like went with it. I'm not going to say what the nickname is either. The one of the fascinating thing that's happened is that, like, I've told somebody, like, a nickname that I've had that I didn't like, and I thought that I could confide in them. I thought that I could, like, trust them and everything. And then they used it against me, and that really hurt me. That really fucked me up. But yeah, so there was a nickname that started for me back in, like, middle school. Again, I'm not going to say what the nickname is. But the way that I put my name together in the restaurant had the people calling me the nickname that was familiar to childhood in middle school. And so I got really upset about it, and I was like, no, don't call me that. And they were very rude and disrespectful about it. They were like, no, actually, we like that name. We're going to call you by that name. And I was like, this is bullshit. That's disrespectful, you know? And this is an example of not knowing what healthy relationships are like, because if you communicate to somebody that you don't like something and you don't want to be talked to a certain way, or you don't want to be called something, one of two things are going to happen, right? Well, maybe there are three ways to go about this, but I'm going to focus on two ways. They're either going to be healthy about it, and they're going to respect the boundary that you don't want to be talked to that way, you don't want to be called that, and they're not going to call you that, and instead they're going to call you what you want to be called, and that's healthy. Or they're fucking not, and that's disrespectful and unhealthy, right? So with the people at the restaurant, I was disrespected. I was not talked to in a kind way. And so here are the boundary violations. Here is the intersubjective space between people, right? And really what they were doing was they were kind of reaching in to the permeability that I had, and they were basically like, we're going to call you what we fucking want to, right? And that's the boundary violation, right? And there's the, holding you against what it is that you want, right? And I kind of utilize that. This visual is really just to show, like, when your boundaries are permeable, people reach right the fuck in, right? And they do whatever the fuck they want to, right? If you allow them to, right? And so what would a healthy approach to that look like? Actual respect, right? And not only that, but also, and I love it when people ask me this question. I love it. I really do. If somebody asks me, is it Chris or Christopher? How would you like to be addressed? Holy shit. Thank you. Yeah. Chris. Thank you. Yeah, that's great, right? They're asking you how you would like to be treated as an actual fucking human being, right? Rather than being like, this is how I'm going to treat you, right? One of them is a boundary violation. The other one is a healthy approach, because it's like, you're a human being. I see you as an autonomous human being. You are your own individual, right? You're not an extension of me. I'm going to treat you as an individual with respect. I'm going to ask you how you want to be treated, right? And the other one is like, you're a fucking puppet for other people's fucking gratification, and they'll make fun of you if they want to. They'll treat you how they want to. And again, that's a mirror of how they treat themselves, right? But yeah, previously in life, I didn't see boundary violations for what they were, because I didn't really understand what that stuff was, because I had, and still somewhat to some extent still do have, permeable boundaries. I'm really working on the healthy boundaries, and yeah, it's just, it's wild to learn unhealthy dynamics and think that that stuff's normal, right? And then have somebody open your fucking eyes and be like, yeah, no, those are boundary violations. That person doesn't respect you. They don't give a shit about you. They probably see you as an extension of themselves, and they're just using you like a fucking object for their own fucking, glorification and gratification. And it's not healthy. That's really not healthy. somebody approaching you as your own human being with your own needs, your own wants, your own likes, your own dislikes, your own comfort, your own safety, your own every beautiful thing like that underneath the fucking sun that shines on us. Somebody who actually takes you into consideration rather than just being like, no, I'll talk to you however the fuck I want to. I will address you however the fuck I want to. No, that's not healthy. That's not healthy, and that's the difference.